Listen.
I still can't believe how fast this day's come.
Hey, me either. So we finally arrived to the finale of the After series, meaning we're finally after, before we get hit with before the prequel series.
You're hot right now, but we have to ride the after wave.
It's definitely one of the goofiest series that has come out of Wattpad that somehow stretched out to be 5 movies long, with this being the second ending that they've had to the franchise, with a script that was, let's just call it extra special. So it is crazy to think how far it's come from being, just a One Direction fanfiction.
Why had they make a movie? Oh, Harry Styles should play you.
Thank you.
Now let me explain. So this one opens up with Hardin quoting the Holy Bible as he waits for Tessa to go down this slip and slide. But if you remember, they broke up in the last one, just like they did in the last 4. But this time it's because he was secretly writing a book titled After that was all about them, and so she left him out in the dust. Now he's out at a bar taking more shots in Chicago.
I thought you were sober.
I was. Cheers. I'll have a whiskey. Waiter, I'll have another.
Okay.
This man ends up being so down bad that when he's dancing at the club, he's recasting this girl in his mind faster than the first movies did all the side characters, and even in his threesomes, he's the heart in with the heart out. Speaking of, he meets up with his mama, who he's still pissed at, because the big twist was that she was cheating on his sugar daddy with his stepdaddy, who was a real daddy, because this boy has a harder family tree to follow than a Targaryen.
Your father was...
Wait. Which father are you talking about right now? Stop.
Hardin then releases some tension by boxing what I assume was his phone because it's all messed up, and that's when he realizes that Tessa's still being served by that waiter from the previous movies, and her caption being joined at the hip means a lot to him since, he felt it himself. Legit, you could hear him making his chiropractor appointment right then and there. He then travels to Lisbon, where he dreams of being in the Hardin Mile Club, but he's really headed over there in order to talk with one of his exes named Nathalie. That's when the movie hits us with a before and shows us how they had met years prior to him meeting Tessa, when Nathalie was looking for a mechanic. And this man just screwed nut then bolt.
What would be really sexy is if we... Just so I can watch it later and think of you.
It would just be for you, right?
Yeah, of course.
I know recording her was like a part of a bet you had with your boys, but is he thinking of her or is he thinking of his boy? Obviously the video gets leaked just like it did in the first.
Am I a bet? Am I a fucking bet?
Meaning that this man is always publishing things that he shouldn't and then ruining relationships. In the present, Nathalie has a copy of his book while he's being left on read in the funniest SMS. Cause what phone has a book title for your conversation with a person? The last one with Tessa didn't even have that. They make up and start hanging out, showcasing all of the beautiful scenery in order to cash in on that Portugal tax credit. And that leads them to the beach where they meet up with a couple of Kens who are throwing what looks like CGI water at the girls.
You ever been cliff diving, man?
No, it's an accident waiting to happen.
Come on, man.
Damn, that SAG strike hit them hard. Sebastian's now the new bro Hardin has to go up against, but Sebastian actually makes some pretty good points because Hardin should definitely be charged for what he did, or at the bare minimum, Sebastian could have taken that story and ruined his entire career before his next book.
If it were up to me, you'd be rotting in a cell.
Now, surprisingly, Tessa doesn't appear in this thing till 40-something minutes into the movie, meaning that Lisbon got more screen time than she did. But it turns out that she had scheduling conflicts, so a bunch of her shots, most of them, are unused footage from the previous movies, which I guess is one way to do a flashback, but it's also because she was out there working on another masterpiece.
Sorry, that was my fault. Are you okay?
I caused the accident, and now I'm gonna flirt with an amnesia patient's cousin?
Hardin eventually has a one-on-one with his father, and it was actually pretty confusing to watch because it was a pretty solid scene that I'm not used to. After everything that they've gone through, I think him making up with his father and getting true advice is something that his character needed. And seeing his acting chops is something I know is possible because his uncles are freaking Ralph and Joe Fiennes.
Would the tutor so simple?
He ends up bettering himself for the 5th time in this series, tossing out all of his liquor and actually finishing his book that he flipped as a prequel. Because, gotta keep the door open for more sequels. And in order to swallow his guilt for his ex, this boy literally spends his advance on a random beach house that Nathalie pointed out.
$250,000 advance.
was pounds.
The movie then climaxes at his brother's wedding day, which looks like they filmed in one day. Like, they got my boy Landon out here in a suit that they just picked up from Ross. Nora's back for a scene since she already has her own Wattpad installment. And this is the one day Tessa showed up to film, as they both walked down as the maid of honor and best man. But boy, did they struggle to fill this set. This lady right here looks like she's a PA being asked to fill a seat. This man over here is in a hoodie and PJ pants? Are we getting married at a Walmart? After mean mugging the waiter, Hardin finds out that these two aren't dating because the script decided to turn them into really good friends. And so he bullies this pipsqueak to go get Tessa to dance with him on the dance floor, using this kid just like one of his dads did in the previous movies. And he ends up giving such a killer wedding speech that he sets up a Mockingjay future where they have the kid she couldn't have, bad wig and all, wrapping up this series with them having the real happy ending they always wanted. And now we wait for After, the divorce.